So anyway, we're farming 18 acres in total. So the land trust is buying this, they just bought this land with the help of Sierra Harvest and the community. There's a whole number of people that have pitched in to this big effort. And it's really a community resource at this point. So now the land is going to be owned by the land trust, and they're going to lease it back to us. So what that's going to allow us to do is consolidate from the 4 properties that we're currently farming to just these 2 properties here. Up until now, we haven't been able to invest in any infrastructure that is more than, that's permanent, because we haven't had any long-term lease. So other than basically our basic infrastructure of our water and fencing, we haven't really invested anything. We've invested a lot. We haven't really invested in large structures, I should say. So having a long-term lease is going to allow us to modify the existing barn that's here, as well as put in a new propagation house. And we have currently about 900 CSA members. A portion of those are year-round subscribers. Some of them are just signing up for the summer. We'll have some people who just sign up for the winter. But currently, to date, we're at 905 members. So we used to do basically a seasonal membership. And it was 25 weeks. And you could sign up at any time, so it was prorated. You could sign up middle of the summer, and you pay for the rest of the season, but you do pay up front, and then so that was our summer season, and then we had a winter season, which kind of is a different structure because we can't grow food all year round. And so it was 2 seasons. We've recently, as of spring, changed our system. So now we have a lot of options, which is what people have been asking us for, more options. So now you can sign up for 25 weeks at a time at any time of the year. So if you sign up for 25 weeks, that's the best deal you can get. It's the most economical. So at the height of the season, we had, which was early in the season, maybe in June or so, we had at most 17 people here, I think it was. I think maybe 13 or 14 were full-time, and then we had 3 or 4 kind of part-time folks that were in the field. And so I kind of figure 1 person per acre of farmable land, or a little bit less maybe. And we basically have 1 person managing, doing all the customer service for all of our members. And we actually just got a new software to try and help with the management. So we're using CSAware, which is a new software that we upgraded to this year from Member Assembler. And that basically just helps manage, it's a big database, helps manage customer data and payments, as well as vacation holds and other types of subscriptions. Prior to this year, a lot of that stuff had to be done manually or on the phone. It was pretty outdated, and so and we're still trying to figure out this new system. We're hoping that's going to help automate some of the work so that our members can go in and actually put themselves on hold and not have to call in, because when you got 900 members and something goes wrong, then it's just a lot of email communication and phone calls, and that won't ever go away. So we have 1 person, she works in the field part-time, but she also is basically on call all the time. We have 900 CSA members. We harvest 2 days a week, Monday and Wednesday, and we pack boxes usually on Monday and Wednesday, sometimes Tuesday, Thursday. Those boxes go out Tuesday and Thursday. So on Tuesday, we're taking CSA boxes to what we call our local drop sites. That's Grass Valley, Nevada City, Penn Valley, and up here on the San Juan Ridge. That's 350 or so boxes. So maybe 40% of our boxes are here locally. Thursday deliveries, those go up to Tahoe, Truckee, and Reno. So Truckee is a big market for us. We go all the way around the lake, and we have some boxes in Reno, which we are more or less looking to expand into Reno. For those of you all who are familiar, it's really hard to grow food up there. They do pay a shipping fee. Yep. So they pay, I think it's $3 per box. And yeah, we could talk about shipping too. But we basically hire a contractor to come and pick up boxes at the farm and take them to our drop sites. Like, what are the pros and cons of the CSA from our perspective? So from our perspective, we're growing all this food, and pretty much all of it goes directly to the customer. So 80% of our sales are direct to our CSA members. So that allows us to basically get a retail price for all of our produce. So that's a huge benefit. Our customers are getting quality, fresh produce. That's a huge benefit for them. Yeah, so then they're also paying, for the most part, paying up front at the start of the season. And so that's giving us operating capital to pay for seeds, pay for diesel fuel for our tractors, and maintenance, and labor for planting, and all of that stuff that we still need to pay for. So that's a huge reason to go with the CSA. And I would say also we just love growing the diversity of produce. So we're not funneled into growing 1, 2, or even 10 crops that are meant purely for wholesale. We're able to grow, one bed of mustard greens because we can put it in the box, and so it's nice for us as farmers to keep things interesting. There are some, I would say, challenges with the CSA, and one of those is just logistics, particularly at our scale, because we don't do a farm pickup, and because most of our customers don't live near the farm, and so the logistics can be really challenging, as well as just the planning for the season. Is just crop planning in general. How do you plan for a CSA? There's so much that goes into it, and I think one of the things that makes or breaks a CSA is, what are your customers getting? Are they getting 10 bunches of kale, or are they getting a wide array of crops? And so that's really important to the success. Yeah, so we basically do a survey at the end of every season, and we ask our customers, how did you hear about us? How long have you been a member? Kind of basic questions along those lines. And then we basically give them a list of the crops that we've given them and ask them if they would like more or less of those crops. Which isn't a perfect survey, but it gives us basically, and we have, I want to say in our last survey, we had maybe 85 or 90% return rate. So really good return rate on our survey. We get this opportunity to see what our customers like. And I can tell you that everybody wants more tomatoes. And most people want more watermelons and sweet corn. And radishes are kind of hit and miss. And most people don't like fennel, unfortunately. We have, using that information, altered our plan to the best that we can. We can't change everything. We can't grow more corn if we wanted to, because we don't have the space, and it's just way too space intensive. And same with broccoli. and we can't grow broccoli in the middle of the summer. And so there are constraints that we have to follow. We really try and every week put out a balanced CSA box. So that often looks like a bunch of greens, maybe 1 or 2 root vegetables, maybe some lettuce, a lot of lettuce in fact, tomatoes, watermelon. So we're trying to give a wide array of produce. And we also want that to be diverse from week to week, not within the week, so not just within the week. So that way our customers are getting staple produce that they like to eat, and they're not, hopefully, getting bored of the things that we're giving them. I would say that our biggest complaint over the years has been that, and the number one reason people drop our CSA is because it's too much produce. So that is something we've worked really hard on fighting against, is too much produce. And so we've done that in a couple ways. One way we've done that is to try and limit the amount of produce we actually put in the box, even if we have it in the field, which is really hard for farmers to do. We used to have 1 share, and now we have a regular box, which was the original size. And we've kept that language intentional as regular. We don't want people to think that it's large, because it's not that big. For me, I'll eat 2 in my house a week, pretty much. But we've gone to a small share, which is really popular. People like that, and people don't eat as much produce as I do. So we're giving people more options. We're giving people, options to choose the size of produce that they want. Now, in that small box, they're not getting the same diversity as they would, and they're also not getting the same quantity as they would in the regular box. So we've had to strategically cut things down. And in a way, it's been, as we've expanded our membership, it's been really great, because we've been able to take a look at what we're harvesting, and if we don't have enough, we can put it in one of the boxes. Usually that would go in the regular box as opposed to the small box. Because say we only have 500, we don't have 1,000 heads of lettuce out there. So it's given us some flexibility, as well as I think increased our member retention. So in the regular box, I would say it's closer to 10. It's like 9 to 11 usually. In previous years, I was looking back a couple weeks ago at our records, and we were putting like 14 items in boxes. And no wonder people were not able to finish it. In the small box, we usually do about 7 items. Sometimes 6, sometimes 8. Kind of depends what those items are. Obviously, if we're putting watermelons in, we might be able to fit less, because the box is actually smaller. And if we're putting, if one of those items is like, say, a bunch of herbs, then we can obviously fit more of those things. We will, before we harvest anything, we have a meeting on Thursdays where we plan the following week. And we'll take a look, we'll make a big list on a big whiteboard, and we'll say, okay, this is ready, lettuce, beets, tomatoes. We have this huge list of items that are ready to harvest. And then we'll put a value next to them. And if that and we'll use basically retail value. So equivalent, if you were shopping at Briar Patch Food Co-op or the farmers market, those are really the most equatable values of produce. And so we'll generally take those items, and we'll basically create a total. So so lettuce is $3, and a pound of carrots is $3, and broccoli is $3.50. So if we're over our budget, which is what our customers pay, $28.75 for our regular box, and then there's there is a fee for paying by credit card or you're deliveried if you're up in Tahoe, Truckee, but let's just say $28.75 is our target. If we're over that by a substantial margin, we'll go back and we'll cut something off the list. So, okay, what's the lowest hanging fruit? What saves? Carrots save really well. We don't need to harvest those. Okay, we'll keep those out of the box. What do we have to give? Well, watermelons we have to give because the season is short. They take up a lot of space. We have to pick them anyway. So that's kind of how we make our decisions about what goes in the box. Essentially, we're doing their grocery shopping. And so we want them to open that box and admire it. And we want it to look nice. And so by packing boxes, in a thoughtful way, so things aren't smashed, the tomatoes aren't smashed, and the lettuce isn't at the bottom. So we start with basically the heaviest stuff, end with the lightest stuff. Put the fragilest things, most fragile things on top or in a corner somewhere. And so just trying to keep in mind that if someone was doing my grocery shopping, I'd want it to look nice. I'd want them to pick out the nice things.
Like kale